What's up, everybody? It's Brandon, and welcome to the Box Office Banter podcast. And we're on episode 27. And of course, today we are kicking it off with the disaster piece of a film, The Disaster Artist. Who wants to roll with this one first?
Oh, boy. I don't even have much to say at all.
I didn't like it.
Oh, don't do this. We're doing this right now. I feel like we all have that guy on the front porch
I don't even
drinking
know
his
how
coffee
it started.
energy. You don't know?
No.
All right, fine. You want to do it?
I mean, the first thing that I guess caught my attention was the acting in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of funny. Just putting myself in the position of someone else eating in that restaurant and seeing two dudes get up and just like basically screaming their acting lines and putting on a play in the middle of like a Denny's. Like, I thought that was kind of funny.
I like that.
Yeah. Dude, from the jump, though, James Franco just disappears into this fucking role.
He really does.
I fucking love it, dude. In general, though, dude, I love out there stories like this that you can keep up with that are real life based, where you're just like, this happened. One that pops in my head, kind of completely different, is Pain and Gain. You're like watching it, you're like, this is fucking real right now. I thought that was awesome about this movie. That's just more of a me thing, but I love that kind of thing. I don't know if y'all agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. And like you were saying about it being funny, the movie isn't in your face kind of funny, but it's very subtly funny, and that ridiculous nature of the film and the true story of it all that I was kind of touching on really plays into that. That makes it even funnier to me.
Yeah, you have to understand the movie before you watch it.
Yeah.
To get why it's funny.
It'll definitely help for sure.
Yeah, if you didn't know it was based off the movie The Room and you just watched this movie,
It's a disaster.
you'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah, what are they doing? Like, they're trying to do this. Oh, shit.
They're trying to be bad, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It was cool seeing the Franco brothers work together as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
That's one of my notes.
Dude, dude, as weird as Tommy is, it kind of gives you the behind-the-scenes look on how this so bad it's good flick got greenlit. Crazy as he is, you got to respect the drive, though, of the man behind this whole fucking thing, dude. He's insane. It's wild, but you really can resurrect what he was going for on this one, dude. Like, and I really, I've seen bits and pieces of The Room. I've known of it, but I haven't watched it all the way through. And it's kind of always like, oh, it's that shithole movie. This movie actually did a good job at like making me appreciate it more. Like, showing me even beyond this movie that there's movies that I might not like, but just the grind and the fact that you can go out there and just get it done. This movie really shed a light on that for me. Not just for this movie, but any movie in general, dude. Makes you respect the process a little more, I think.
Yeah, and Tommy you find out very quickly, he just lives like a carefree life.
Yeah.
Like, Greg says something about, I forgot where he was saying he wanted to go, but it was like 300 miles away.
James Dean's gravesite.
Yeah,
His
and-
wreck site.
And Tommy's like, let's go.
Yeah,
And you're
just
like,
go.
"What?"
Just do.
And then later on, he's like, you want to move to L.A.? And Greg's like, what? Move to L.A.? He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
fucking
already got a
serious?
place there.
Well, that's
Dude.
one of the things in my notes too. Is like that Tommy, as crazy as he is, as psychotic as he may seem to be, he is very passionate, but very motivational. Like everything that he did for like Greg, well, he didn't do it for his own self, glory. Like, I mean, I guess he kind of did in a way, but it was more for Greg than it was for
Dude.
Tommy.
It motivated me, man. I'm talking pinky promise right now, dude. I'm dead ass fucking serious. I don't have enough pinkies. Get in here. I'm gonna do this.
Why would you go with the same hand?
Here, well, hook it up, dude. Hook it up. And I'm gonna get yours right in my mouth. I'm gonna separate. Here, you gotta get in on this.
What
Wait,
the
what's
fuck?
the
What are
pinky
we
promise?
doing,
We're
dude?
connecting
didn't
the
say-
power. Well, hey, I'm gonna
You
get
didn't
to that.
make the promise.
Yes.
You can't pinky promise before the promise.
Well, no. I'm saying we're pinky promising. That's what he did in the movie. He's like pinky promise. He's like that we will
Murder people. tonight.
not murder people. That we will believe in each other, we'll push each other, and we'll never give up on dream
Right.
for the
On dream.
podcast.
Yes.
We won't.
Pinky
Never.
We pinky promised
Yeah,
today.
Promise.
Pinky promised it right now.
Pinky promised today.
Right now.
So
Just
they
saying.
decide to make a movie.
Well, hey, man, this is essential shit here. He motivated me, and we just pinky promise. We'll always remember this moment. At least I will.
So yeah, they moved to L.A.
They moved to LA.
Greg gets an agent pretty quickly, and you can kind of tell Tommy starts getting like jealous,
Yeah, that was
He's
weird.
thinking almost like Greg's a better actor than me type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you started to feel that jealousy. You also saw it when they were at that club and he was dancing and Greg starts talking to that girl. Like
Yeah, he
Tommy's mood
immediately-
immediately changed and he was like, "This club sucks. Let's go."
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
he was just like,
doing
this
like
is
the
my
disco and shit.
song. He was feeling it.
Tommy.
Dude.
I got a lot of love for Tommy though. I
Mm-hmm.
think first of all, back to the whole James Franco thing, the way he portrayed him and the way he got his like accent down to
Dude.
the way he did. I
He's
think was
funnier
incredible.
than he has any right to be in
Yes,
this movie.
it really is. But he's also serious
the
at
way
the
he
same
words
time.
it.
Like the shit that he's saying and actually doing is all like legit. It's not meant to be funny,
Mhm.
like you were saying, but
It
it
just
is
works.
hilarious.
Yeah, dude. And this movie does a solid job, at least more in the beginning, of just showing you how much like Hollywood will just like fuck you. Like it gives you that vibe right off the bat. Like this is kind of our suspicions. Okay, maybe it's not completely true down to every little detail, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly how Hollywood is. Like you're mine now, like all that shit. And then you feel it too, like when fucking Tommy's kind of talking to what's his name, Greg in the movie, and he's like, yeah, Greg, you could just tell her about me, and it's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I was kind of worried about that. I'm like, is this gonna be a ball and chain kind of situation
Yeah.
where Greg's gonna have to make a tough choice? And God, dude, I hate the thought of that. Like those kind of situations scare me. Like anytime you're doing something, even like this type of podcast shit, it's like we'll offer you. Say they offer like we like Josh the best. We'll ditch these guys, put you with 3 other dudes. That sounds like a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Like I'd hate. I'd be like, yeah, well, I mean, I could. They're my buddies. I'll bring them up with my money, and I don't know. Yeah, and that I was worried that was gonna happen in this movie. And honestly, man, the cast in this movie, of course. It's fucking tremendous.
Yeah.
But one thing I loved about it is that even though it's a funny movie for all intents and purposes, it was refreshing to see all these guys kind of take on a different type of funny movie. You know, they've done serious roles before, but to see them, when you see all those guys at once, even like the smaller roles in the beginning, you see Danny McBride for a second. When you have that collective group of people, you have an expectation. And when this movie pops off and gives you this, it's just refreshing to see them do a little something different.
So I totally missed Danny McBride. Where was he at?
It's for like 5 seconds. It's in the very beginning when they're talking about the movie. You remember that? There was a bunch of
I
actors.
fucking love Danny McBride.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
There's a
remember.
bunch of actors
okay,
at the
yeah,
beginning.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like in the
Scott.
movie,
Yeah,
but
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like even down to the smallest role, like
Yeah,
you get
gotcha.
those characters in there,
But yeah, I
There's
did
an-
love
representation that you
all the
expect.
cameos from like.
Yeah,
There's big people throughout the movie. Like I did like seeing, like Zac Efron's in the movie for
Oh my
3
god,
minutes.
He was great.
hilarious.
Brian Cranston, like there's so many people in it just for like a quick scene or something. I thought that was
yeah. He's already like
refreshing.
middle Malcolm. He's a little Malcolm or whatever the fuck.
Dude,
Yeah,
then
dude.
Josh Hutcherson playing
Yes.
the boy. He's like,
That's
he's like, how
so
old is my
dumb,
character?
yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's your age. He's your age. Supposed to be about 16. He's like, but I'm 26. He's like, yeah, you're good. It's all good.
Dude. And even like, dude, when he went and he had the heavy fucking New Orleans accent, as he
Yeah.
called it, that whole scene, dude, it's weird. But even like the tiniest touches, like the posters on the wall that represented that time, like Ready to Rumble, fucking Bait with Jamie Foxx, 13 Ghosts. I loved all 3 of those movies around that time. And for some reason, something that simple really like took me there. Like, okay, I'm in this fucking time frame. It's weird how little touches like that can do it for you. But one thing I'd like to say, too, is one thing that's abundantly clear as the movie goes on, there's definitely some hectic shit that we're going to get into between the characters, but it becomes abundantly clear that they care about these characters they're portraying. Like, they could have went that route that most people would go, especially in today's day and age, where they're like, this dude's a fucking joke. Like, let me just make fun of him. Now, granted, there's moments where you can laugh at it, but he brought, like, a certain humanity, like, to the character to where you can care about the character. You know what I mean? There's something there with Tommy, even though he goes off the rails a little bit because he's caught up in the fame shit, which we'll get into. There's something there beforehand where he makes him his own person. He's not just the butt of a joke. And when he is, it feels organic. Like, you can feel that Tommy, if he watched this movie, and he had, like, the cameo, I think, in it. I actually missed it, but I believe he is in a cameo in this movie. But, yeah, just the fact that he could watch this and be like, he wouldn't be like, these motherfuckers. And that's kind of what I was scared of. I was like, they're about to make a mockery of this fucking movie. But there's enough heart there to where it's respectful to, you know, the source material and who the people are too, and all while still making funny. The boundary and that line you have to walk to do that, it's impressive in its own way if you really think about it.
Touche.
You two say touche. Yeah, dude.
What else?
They're two up-and-coming actors, and they can't really get any jobs. And then Tommy's like, he gets motivated. It's like, let's just make our own movie. And I like whenever they go to, like, get the cameras and all that stuff, and they usually rent it out, and Tommy's just like, well, we want to buy everything. And then they're telling him there's different
Definitely
type of
not balling on a
cameras.
budget.
Yeah, he's just like, we'll get it all, and then they sell it to him, and then they work for him. And then Tommy typing out the whole
The script.
script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had that casting call.
Yes.
And the scene where he's telling the girl to, like, lick the ice cream cone.
Yeah.
And then
she's like, what kind of movie I do?
He says, no, I don't do porno. And she, like, continues to do it, which I thought was funny.
Like, do it faster. Do it faster.
At one
It's
point
really melting. It's really melting.
At one point, she's like, "No, I'm not opposed to it, but you know, yada yada," and then says something else. I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
she's still down to do it."
Yeah, dude.
The casting call was, I thought it was pretty hilarious because it's like two awful actors casting for a movie about them, and it's just I thought it was absolutely hilarious, the casting call.
Yeah, dude. And by the time around that time, Faith No More came on, dude. That song was like perfect for this movie. That was around the time I was kind of like, okay, well, not song, band, I should say. The song being epic. But when that came on, I was like, okay, this soundtrack's actually kind of nice too. It's got a good flow to it and all that. And in a weird way, I don't know how familiar y'all are with Faith No More. Like that song, Epic, I could honestly see Tommy like doing an odd cover of that fucking song. I don't know if y'all can even join me on this. I don't know if y'all know who Faith No More is. Y'all would know the song if you heard it, but we'll skim over that then. Damn it! I was like, watch me say this, and they're both gonna be like,
All of us. Yep.
not a single song. I'm gonna just play it mid podcast. What the fuck?
So then, what about when Tommy's filming his first scene? I don't know why that cracks me.
Oh,
up
he
so
got
much.
it's
nervous.
hilarious.
It takes like 70 tries for him to finally get it.
Oh, is that when he's walking out of that little
Yeah,
thing?
the water
he can't
bottle.
get it, and, like, he's like
At the
lying,
end.
and everybody like has already memorized his line, and they're like all saying it back to him at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Seth Rogen was a perfect addition to have as the script supervisor.
Yeah.
That was perfect because like Seth Rogen as a side character like that is perfect. Like he's the perfect side character like that, and then him to go and he gets so pissed off at Tommy over the whole scene and everything.
Yeah,
I thought that shit was
I like
funny
when he
as hell.
goes to get the check or whatever too,
To
and they
cash
were just
it.
like,
Didn't
no
think
shit.
it was gonna go through.
Yeah, it's
Why,
like, I
would,
thought
why
it'd
would
be
you
fake.
say that to
I
a
know.
bank teller? That's like the last thing you
Yeah.
would say. Is, I think this might be fake, but try to cash it for me.
Yeah, he's like, you like movies? He's like, is it a period piece? He's just like, no. He's like, no. And that dude, whoever the fuck that guy is, he just shows up in everything. Like the dude that was getting him the check cash, I don't know what it is about that guy. I don't know his name, but I feel like every other comedy movie I see, he's got like a role, and I'm like, oh, there's that fucking guy. Like I should probably know who that dude is by now. I don't know if you do.
Nope.
Or not. And Tommy, dude, once the jealousy and the rage and everything starts to take over a little bit, I like how, again, the humanity of the character is kind of intact. Because even though he's a flawed character, you can kind of see where he's coming from. He even says in the beginning, like, nobody gives me a chance. Like, you can tell that he is a character that's always been empty. There's nobody really around him. So right or wrong, probably wrong, because you still shouldn't have done the dickhead things he does. but it at least makes sense that he's not just being a dickhead to be a dickhead. He just has trust issues. He feels like he's lost, and I think that is crucial to the point of, like, you know, Franco keeping that respect factor there. So even though they show him as a dickhead, you at least get the vibe and the flavor of the character that he's not a flat-out dickhead. He's just a troubled person that got lost in the moment with the weight of the world pressing and closing in on him and feeling like he's being abandoned again. And I thought that was nice for them to do, to keep that in there to where it didn't feel just flat out like, oh, so this Tommy guy's a dickhead. There's at least that little bit of backstory and something there for you to understand why he's acting the way he is, right or wrong, because he's troubled past, man. Troubled past.
Yeah, you see that more whenever they are doing that sex scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the next
Show
thing I
my
had written
ass.
down. He's like up on her belly button.
Yeah,
And
that
they're
was
like,
great.
does he know where the vagina
Yeah,
is?
that was great. Dude. Oh
It was an uncomfortable scene to watch almost. Like it's hard to watch that whole scene
mm-hmm.
for me at least.
Dude, there's a lot of scenes in this movie where you feel uncomfortable for
It's
them.
cringy.
It's
That's-
like,
Yeah,
ugh.
that's like it's bad.
The whole movie,
Yes.
basically, for me. That's
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. So, y'all have anything else to touch on before we jump to kind of around the theater portion?
well,
No, go for
the
it.
suicide scene.
Damn it.
What was that? What you were gonna say?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna bring that up and then
Okay.
have y'all talk about it.
The suicide scene where he goes to off
Yeah,
himself,
whenever he's
and
filming
like,
it,
you come back.
he comes back to life.
Like, that's the most Tommy Wiseau, however you pronounce his name.
I could
fucking thing
definitely,
ever.
I could see that being like
He's like, no, trust
in real
my
life
vision.
happening.
He's like, this is good. It's great. It's cinema. We didn't talk about old dude where he was laughing at his line either. That was something we briefly talked about. We're like,
where it
save
was
for
like
the
a
podcast.
serious line.
Yeah, the serious
He kept
line.
he's in sitting in that like lawn chair or whatever.
Ha, ha,
And he just
ha.
keeps laughing at it.
Yeah, that was fucking great,
And like
dude.
Seth Rogen comes up to him and he's like, "The script you wrote. This is like a serious scene. Why are you laughing? It's just emotion."
It's like, what's he
And he-
say? He words
keeps
it a certain
doing it.
way. He says something about like way of life. It's not that exactly.
But yeah, that
Unpredictable or some shit. I wish I knew it. I got it on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, honestly, man, of course, you know, Greg and Tommy have their fallout because Tommy is admittedly being a complete fucking douchebag.
Yes.
But luckily they were able to finish the movie. 8 months, I believe, is what it says, went by.
Yeah.
And then
which the whole time through the movie it says like day 8 of 40 filming.
yeah, I
or
love
whatever.
that how it goes
And
overlaps.
then it goes like day 62 of 40 filming.
Yeah, still going strong. That was another thing. I didn't touch on him having his own bathroom. That's a
Yeah.
bougie
And they're
thing
like,
right there.
there's literally a bathroom right
Like,
there.
it's a movie
With a door.
set. Yeah, but my whole thing is if you're Greg, like, can you imagine 8 months later you're hearing from your girl that it's probably better that nobody sees that movie that you did with Tommy, and then you literally look up and it's like The Room premiering, and you're like, motherfucker, and you can see it on his face. Like, there is a part of him that's kind of like, or at least the way I read it, like, fuck, dude, I really got to be shown in this. But there was another part of him that's like, oh, he did it. Like, this is here. Like, I can, you know, kind of put it to bed, and also like, fuck it, let's see where this goes, dude. And then, of course, it goes. He meets Tommy, and they kind of bring that back around where Tommy is, you know, seeming like good Tommy again. Like, I did this for you, Greg. Like, however his fucking accent goes. And he,
That wasn't it.
No,
That
no.
sounded like you're in Mexico.
I know, that, like, I can't do that one, admittedly. I can do some accents. Definitely not one of them. Maybe I'll touch it up for you guys one day. But I mean, it was funny too, like seeing him in the limo after he talks him into it, and they just go by it.
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing?
But yeah, and Seth Rogen's like commenting on everything, like, this is fucking weird. I don't know, what are they doing? But I
it'd be
mean,
weird if he didn't do something like that. is what
but
you're saying.
I mean, at the same time, I do see his point though. Like, we can't be the first ones, you know.
Yeah.
that
They
show
weren't,
up.
though.
As he drives by, you're like, what the fuck is he doing? But then he explains
Yeah,
it, and
it
you're like,
makes
okay,
sense.
I
Like,
do kind of see.
yeah,
He
like,
wants more
where he's
people to
coming
show
from.
up before.
Yeah, like they don't want to be like, oh, everybody shows up, like who's like, oh, they're here, and all that, dude. And I don't know about you guys, dude, but man,
boy.
I would be so nervous going to that premiere. I'd be shitting bricks,
Dude.
especially if I had a bad feeling in my stomach. It's like, this is probably gonna fucking blow.
I'd be nervous going to any premiere. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in the movie, like, how are people going to take this? Like,
Yeah, let alone this.
because if you film a movie, you're probably going to think it's better than it actually is.
Yeah.
So you're going to go in with a positive vibe, and like being in Tommy's perspective, because everybody hated it, and he's sitting there and just hearing the moans and stuff from people around. Like, that has to be like the worst feeling, because he genuinely thought this was a great movie, and just to have everybody hate it so bad that they start laughing at it.
Dude, and yeah, that was something I wrote in my notes. We were talking about awkward a second ago. Like, how awkward was that theater? Like, people are like leaning down in their seat, and then for Tommy even looking over at Greg leaning down in his seat, and it just like, I actually cracked up at that when what's his name? Another dude, I should know his actor name, talks to, who the hell is he talking to? I actually know this guy's name. Damn it. But he's basically whispers to him. He's like, I don't think I like this. And like the way he said it, like you just felt that release almost for yourself, where you're like, okay, I'm not the only one. Yeah. And it just kind of slowly worked its way over to the point it literally drove Tommy out of the theater. They were cracking up so hard.
Yep.
And there is something to that, like, you know, on both sides. Like, Greg's like, they're having a blast, man. But there also is, when you're trying to make something creative and it's supposed to be real and it's supposed to not be a complete fucking joke, how that could drive you into the ground too. Like, that would fucking hurt you. If you're like, I made this serious movie, I'm hoping it's going to be a masterpiece, and everybody's like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. That would fucking hurt. But it was cool of him to be like, okay, like, let's treat it for what it is. It's better than nothing. Let's make something out of this. Let's see how this goes. And he goes back out there.
He goes back on stage and says something like, "I'm glad you all like my comedy."
Yeah,
Exactly how I intended it to be.
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, talk about a complete 180 though. Like, you start off the movie where you're like, this is gonna be a serious film, and everybody's just like, this fucking sucks, like whispering under their breath, to the very end where they're like thinking
Howling.
it turned into a comedy, which completely genre change mid-movie, if we even got to the mid-movie before that happened. And then on top of that, you go from like, this dude's movie sucks, to a standing O type shit, dude. Like, that's fucking awesome. Just to see, like, even though it happened in a weird way, just the fact that you could get that from a movie, starting off, I hate this, to standing ovation. That's a crazy achievement in a weird fucking way.
Which, the disaster artist, like, how you just explained The Room is how the disaster artist is for me. Like,
Yeah.
it starts out so bad. I texted you all in the group, and I was like, I don't know if I can make it through this. Like, I might turn this off. And then the end of the movie, like I was telling you all, where they do that split
Just
screen,
side by side.
where it's the actual movie and disaster artist, like, that ties everything together for you so perfectly. You
Puts
see
that bow on top.
You see how well the casting is, and how in the disaster artist they look exactly like the people in The Room, and how close, like, just all the movements that everybody's, like, they had it down to a T to the actual movie, and that wraps everything together and, like, makes this movie almost watchable. If I watch it again, it'll be better. I think, like,
No.
Yeah.
no,
No, dude, it's worse the second time.
I think you
I'll
need
like
to
it more.
watch
I disagree
The
with
Room
that.
and then watch
That's what I was
this.
gonna say. I was like, does this make you want to expand even further from those end credits and watch the whole movie, The Room, to get the whole vibe, and then come back?
I think if
think I
y'all
need
watch
to.
The Room and
I
then
haven't
watch
seen The Room.
Disaster Artist, then y'all find more of a
I've seen
love and
most
respect.
of The Room, and
no, it's still not doing
No.
it. I haven't seen any of it other than the disaster artist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what's your
What's y'all's scores?
Yeah,
You go
what's your
first,
rating,
Tyler.
Tyler?
I gave it a 4.4.
Oh my God! Doesn't even
No.
clips average. Damn, son.
I feel like most people would agree with me, though.
I think
That
they would, but
It's
they're
more
not-
worse than it is better.
But I don't think
No.
most people understand what they're going for with
See,
the
I don't
movie.
think so. Well, I mean, if you go off IMDb, which
Well, they
is your
should know.
general audience, it's like a 7.6 or something.
They should
which is
kind of
good.
know before they watch the movie what it's
So-
about.
I gave it a 6, and I was hovering around that 4.5 like Tyler until that
Really?
bow was
Yeah,
put
y'all
on
were
top.
shocking me. I was like, really?
And I was super excited to watch this. This is my first time watching it. I was excited to watch it. I remember when it came out, and I just never watched it for whatever reason. And yeah, disappointed at the beginning, and then it kind of all comes together as the movie ends. So it gets a 6
Yeah.
for me.
For me, it's an 8 out of 10. It's great, just barely, but it is great. And it's just the whole just the guys, dude. Like, even though it's terrible, just not giving up on their dream. It's oddly motivational. The characters were so spot on. The story was fun enough, and it was just wild to see this ridiculous story play out. Honestly, it's mind-boggling to me that anyone couldn't enjoy this. But it's one of those things. I mean, dude, I get it. There's movies like that, but there is movies too where you're like, really? You didn't like that? This would be one of those. And yeah, man, for me, it's when Tommy starts to be a dick. That whole section of the movie, actually, for me, isn't terrible. And I even explained there's a reason why it's happening. It just isn't as fun for me in those moments. I'm like, why, Tommy? Like, this is what you're doing. And then it kind of captures it again at the end. But it's a great movie to me. It deserves the great title. 8 out of 10.
What about you, Rodney?
I think I gave it a 7 just because I think with me having seen The Room before I watched this movie, then I think if I hadn't seen The Room, it would have been a lower score. But I don't know. I think it would have been a higher score. Honestly, that laughing at the end didn't do it for me. It lasted too long for me, and then it kind of took me out of the feel, the vibes.
Yeah, it just kept going. Like, you're like, at some point, this ain't even believable. Like,
yeah.
Like, give me a more authentic theater experience that they had.
You want to plug the Instagram and stuff, Tyler?
We just plug something. Trying some.
That's a good one. Yeah, Instagram at the official Box Office Banner. Follow us there. YouTube at Box Office Banner. Subscribe. We post every video we make there. Facebook at Box Office Banner Movies. Movies is all capitalized with 2 O's.
Yes, sir.
Join the group. Invite your friends. Spotify at the official Box Office Banner podcasts. Follow us there. All the podcasts come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Listen anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, and just like Shaggy, remember, it wasn't me.